Everyone laughed at the CEO's date, until the groom looked at the single dad and said, "Boss." The laughter started before the music did. It rippled through the crystal-lit ballroom in quiet waves, polite smiles, raised eyebrows, whispers behind champagne flutes. All because the woman stepping inside wasn't what anyone expected. Claire Whitmore, CEO of Whitmore Holdings, one of the most powerful women in the room, walked in wearing a simple navy dress. No diamonds. No entourage. And on her arm was a man in a slightly worn suit, his tie a shade too old-fashioned, holding the hand of a small boy who looked around wide-eyed, as if afraid to touch anything too expensive. That was when people laughed. Not out loud, never that, but in the way the wealthy do when they think they're being subtle. "A single dad," someone murmured. "That's her date? Is he, staff?" Claire felt it. Of course she did. She always did. But she didn't flinch. She simply squeezed the boy's hand gently and whispered, "You okay, Ethan?" The boy nodded. "Yeah. It's just, really big." The man smiled apologetically at her. "If this is too much, we can step outside." Claire shook her head. "No. You belong here." Those words, "you belong here," had changed his life once before. 3 years earlier, no one had said them to Daniel Carter. Back then, Daniel was invisible. A widowed single father juggling 2 part-time jobs, unpaid bills, and a 6-year-old son who still cried for his mom at night. His world was small: school drop-offs, late-night laundry, ramen dinners, and silent prayers that his car wouldn't break down again. The day it did, it happened in the worst place possible. Downtown. Rush hour. Rain pouring like the sky had cracked open. Daniel stood helplessly by the hood, phone dead, panic rising. Ethan sat inside, clutching his backpack, trying to be brave. That was when a sleek black car stopped. Out stepped Claire Whitmore. She was already late for a board meeting that would. The room. Then his gaze locked on Daniel. The room went quiet. Oliver's smile widened. "Daniel Carter." "Sir, could you stand for a moment?" Daniel froze. Me?" Ethan tugged his sleeve. "Dad?" Hands shaking, Daniel stood. A ripple of confusion passed through the crowd. Oliver lifted his glass. "This man changed my life." Gasps. Murmurs. 10 years ago, Oliver continued, I was a reckless intern with a famous last name and no discipline. I messed up a major project and was about to be quietly fired. He pointed gently at Daniel. He was the project manager. A single dad. Exhausted. Underpaid. Invisible to everyone, except me, after that day. Daniel swallowed hard. Instead of throwing me under the bus, Oliver said, voice thickening, he stayed all night fixing my mistake. He taught me accountability. Leadership. And when I asked him why he did it, he said, because someone once believed in me when I didn't deserve it. The room was completely silent now. Oliver smiled through tears. That man is the reason I'm standing here today. He was my mentor. My boss. Then Oliver raised his glass higher and said the word that shattered every judgment in the room. Boss. All eyes turned to Claire. Suddenly, everything made sense. The silence broke, not into laughter this time, but applause. Loud. Earned. Rising to a standing ovation. Daniel sank back into his chair, stunned. Ethan looked up at him, eyes shining. Dad, you're a boss. Daniel laughed through tears. I guess I was. Claire reached for his hand, holding it openly now. The room saw them, not as CEO and charity case, not as power and pity, but as equals. Later that night, as the music softened and guests lined up to apologize in their own awkward ways, Daniel stepped onto the balcony with Claire. I never wanted to put you in that position, she said quietly. He smiled. Funny. I was thinking the same. They stood there, city lights stretching endlessly before them. I didn't bring the future of her company. But she saw the boy first. Then the man soaked to the bone, pretending he wasn't terrified. Do you need help? She asked. Daniel laughed bitterly. Unless you can fix engines, probably not. She smiled. I can make calls. She didn't just make calls. She stayed. She ordered food for Ethan. She listened while Daniel apologized too much and explained too little. She arranged a tow, a rental, and insisted he take her umbrella. Why are you doing this? He asked. Claire shrugged. Someone once did it for me when I had nothing. Kindness isn't charity. It's memory. Before leaving, she handed him a card. If you ever need work, she said, call me. Not because I feel sorry for you. Because I see you. Daniel never forgot that. Back in the ballroom, the wedding ceremony was about to begin. This wasn't just any wedding. It was the marriage of Claire's godson, Oliver Whitmore, the heir to a major international firm. The guest list read like a who's who of power: senators, executives, celebrities. And they were all watching her date. Daniel shifted uncomfortably as people stared. He leaned down to whisper to Ethan, remember, don't touch anything gold. Ethan grinned. Dad, everything is gold. Claire laughed softly. That laugh, warm, real, turned a few heads. It didn't match the story people had made up about her. As the ceremony ended and guests moved toward the reception, the whispers grew louder. She could have anyone. Midlife crisis? Must be a charity case. Daniel heard enough to know he didn't belong. I'm going to take Ethan to get some air, he said quietly. You should stay. Claire met his eyes. Don't disappear on me. I don't want to embarrass you. Her jaw tightened. You don't. Before he could reply, the groom stepped onto the stage for his speech. Oliver adjusted the microphone, smiling nervously. Before I thank my parents and my beautiful bride, there's someone I need to acknowledge. He scanned. You tonight to prove anything, Claire said. I brought you because you're kind. Because you raised a good man while becoming one yourself. Daniel looked inside through the glass, where Ethan was laughing with the bride. For a long time, he said, I thought kindness was invisible. Turns out, it's just patient. Claire nodded. And humanity, she added, always recognizes its own. When they rejoined the party, the laughter was gone. In its place was something better: respect, humility, and a quiet reminder that titles fade, money shifts, but character always speaks for itself. And sometimes, the most powerful person in the room is the one who once fixed someone else's mistake without expecting applause.